Welcome to the City of Helena City County Joint Work Session, July 11, 2023, 5 o'clock. This meeting is called to order. Welcome and thank you for participating in the City of Helena City County Joint Work Session. We are pleased to be able to provide this alternative meeting format in the city's effort to broaden public participation. Please be patient as we may experience technical difficulties during the meeting. Please read the following tips and guidelines for the app usage and your participation. Madam Clerk.
City Attorney Doctor. I apologize, Mr. Mayor. City Manager Burton.
Here.
Commissioner D. Here. Commissioner Logan.
Here.
Commissioner Reed. Here. Commissioner Shirtley. Is Commissioner Shirtley able to join us online today, Mr. Mayor?
I am not sure.
We not see him online. Mayor Collins.
Here.
Commissioner Hunthausen.
Here.
Commissioner Payne.
Here.
Commissioner Rolfe.
Here.
CAO Balls.
Here. Okay, welcome everyone. And first thing, commission comments, questions. Do you have any of those? If not, we'll move along. Board appointments. City and County Commissioner, City and County Commissioner offices, board appointment, regional airport joint appointment. City and County Commissioners have proposed the following applications for appointments. Appointment of Jason Davis to an interim term on the City County Regional Authority, Airport Authority as a joint appointee. Interim term will expire September 1st, 2024. Appointment of Peter Funk to an interim term on the City County Regional Airport Authority to a joint appointee. Interim term will expire September 1st, 2024. Appointment of Leslie Egbert to an interim term on the City County Regional Authority as a joint appointee. Interim term will expire September 1st, 2024. Discussion, please.
Collins?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Commissioner.
I'm wanting to.
I apologize, just a moment. Commissioner Payne, can you try again?
Certainly. I would like to amend my recommendation for appointment to Jason Davis. Can I do that?
Sure.
And I think I would do the same. Well, Mr. Mayor.
But then it's unanimous, right?
Mr. Mayor, yes,
Yes.
sounds like the county commission is Jason Davis.
And that is also the City of Helena. All right, so I'll entertain a motion.
We need to do it each commissioner together.
We'll just do it again. We'll just do it again.
Mr. Mayor, if
or Stephanie Becker? Who takes the floor?
I'll start. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. As you were previously briefed, we have been doing an integrated solid waste master plan with the help of Great West. We sent out a survey to both city and county residents, and Stephanie's here to present the results of that survey. Generally speaking, everybody was pretty positive on what the current situation is. So that's a very good sign. Tim, did you want to add anything?
I'm Stephanie Becker with Great West Engineering. I've met and know most of you guys. So we did put out that survey for, gosh, I don't remember now. It was a little over a month. Then we did a public meeting, which was, it wasn't very well attended, kind of disappointing. However, it was fairly engaged. And again, there was a lot of positive comments. Only a couple comments, which we'll get into that, where we don't want to raise our taxes, even though it's not a tax, it's an assessment. So at the end of the day, we have a lot of education to do, but that's okay. We can do that. So we'll run through the survey results. Again, these are the results. We got a little over 1,700 responses. I think that's about 8 or 9% of the people that we that would have been eligible to take the survey. Generally 10% is a real good number. So I mean, we're close, but so keep this in mind that it's only 8 or 9%, 1,700 people, but that's actually, I mean, that is more than what our subconsultant expected to happen.
What did I do?
I hope all of you took the survey. It's not to put you all on the spot. Good,
100%.
good. So the phase one was meant to, the phase one survey was meant to just get a general feel for how people feel about the existing system and what they'd like to see. They weren't presented any additional information on what an alternative might be. It was just, this is a general gathering of information, and this information we'll pull back into our alternatives analysis and our ultimate report. We will use some of this data in consideration for preferred alternatives at the end of this. So 77% of the people were county residents, which again, we were pleasantly surprised that it did reach the county. It seemed like that was a concern, but it turns out it ended up being really good that there was that many people from the county. Then what we did is we broke it out into city results and county results, so that based at 77% went to the county results. So this is 94% of the 77%. So keep those things in mind also. But this was, which of the following best describes 88% and 94% are single family homes. That's not entirely surprising, because these go out to property owners. Generally, property owners are single family homes. So there were opportunities for people in multifamily housing to take these surveys as well. Do you have curbside pickup? Actually, a lot of, in the city, I don't think that people understand that they all do. But county results, 76% actually have curbside pickup. And this is if you answered yes to the following one. So 95%, this was just on the frequency. Most of the time it's just once a week. So if you answered yes to this one, then you can answer this next question. So keep that in mind, that say 77 or that 90% of people in the county, and I'm just using a number, 99% of the people in the county had curbside pickup, and 95% of those 90% have it once a week. So that will come into play a little bit farther when we get into the recycling. So how would you rate your service in terms of, so there's convenience, reliability, and cost. You can see there that people are pretty happy. There's excellence, a lot of excellence, a few goods, and then very few poor and fares. So that's good. People are generally happy with the service that they have been provided. Then do you recycle? Yes or no? More people in the city recycle, not totally surprising because there is curbside available. It's a little bit more convenient. They live close to the recycling centers. So that's not entirely surprising, but it is great that 61% of county residents or 61% of the people that took this survey recycle. And if you answered yes to the last one, where do you do this? Most people are transfer station or drop-off sites in the county. And then it's kind of broken into thirds for curbside transfer station drop-off sites in the city. So people are using that service that is provided by Helena Recycling. And so that's good. That's trending in the right direction. And then if you have curbside recycling, the frequency, most of them are twice a week if they have it, and then the others I don't have curbside pickup was most of those. If you have curbside recycling, how would you rate the service in terms of, so it looks like the recyclers in town are doing a very good job. Everyone seems pleased with the service that they have. There's a few that are poor and fair. There isn't necessarily an opportunity for us to ask those individual people what their problem might be, but it was also a good opportunity for John with Helena Recycling, and then the others to maybe reach out to customers. And I don't know, he might be able to send out his own little survey to his clientele. So would you like to see more waste diversion? Most people in the city, 77% in the city were yes, 9% a no. So that's good that there's only 9%, and then some unsure. It's a little bit different in the county, 48%, but that's still almost half. Say yes, we like more diversion, 23%, so about a quarter are a no, and then some of them are unsure. It's okay. We're still that's still pretty much everything is positive in here. Have you answered yes to that? So if you answered yes to wanting to do that, you can see that there's 310 responses for the city, and 61% of those 310 responses said they would pay $1 to $10 a month. 18% is the 10 to 20 a month, and then 20 to 40 a month is 12%. Some of them are no. So then 58% of that 647 in the county were a $1 to $10 a month. So if people are interested in curbside recycling, most of them are okay with paying more, but that's only if they're okay with paying for the curbside. Would you be interested in universal curbside recycling? We got a whole lot of no's in the county, and it's reverse in the city. Again, the city has that opportunity to them, and I think a lot of people are using that service, so they're already used to it. And then it's not great that universal curbside recycling is not that welcome in the city, but it is still a select few. So it's not speaking for everyone. It's just a sample of the population. And if you answered yes to curbside, so you can see down below the total number of responses are 235 for city and 322 for the county.
I think this was.
Yeah.
That
Sorry.
was universal.
For universal. Yeah, sorry. So if you answered yes, how much would you be willing to spend? Most people are at $1 to $10 a month, but that is a very select few of people that would be interested in a universal curbside recycling. Yard waste, there was a whole lot of different options. So it looks like most people in the city throw it away in their garbage. or no, excuse me, they take it to the Helena transfer station. That's good because then that can be taken out to the landfill and be composted. 24% is, where is that? I compost at my own residence. And then 26% is throw away in my garbage. There's an opportunity there in the city to do some green waste collection. So that's something that we'll look at. In the county, let's see, I compost at my own residence, 37%. That was actually a couple comments in the public meeting. A guy said, well, I have 2 acres of land, I can compost at my own house. Well, that's not everyone in the county, we know that, but it's still good that people aren't throwing that away. Not many people are throwing it away in their garbage in the county, and then 32% are still taking it to the Helena transfer station. I think there's a little bit of, and this will be in our analysis, a little bit of lower hanging fruit to look at the green waste, keeping that out of the waste stream so it doesn't go into the landfill. But that's options that we're looking at. If you don't throw away your yard waste and your garbage, how would you rate your yard waste and yard waste service in terms of? So it sounds, I mean, a lot of people are average to excellent. I think that people maybe got a little bit confused on this because there was only a handful of people that responded to that. It just didn't seem like it was very clear to them. So that was on us. It still seems that the people that did answer this question are still pretty happy with it overall. What do you do with your food waste? Most people throw it away in their garbage. The city and the county were just about the same percentages. I compost some of it in my own residence. I subscribe to a service. So there's a big opportunity there. I know there's a service in town that does food waste. That's a good opportunity for that company to start looking at that. And then other, please specify. We don't have those comments, or we didn't pull those comments. So there's another potential low-hanging fruit, but that's an analysis that we'd have to figure out who does that. Is that something that the city and the county might do, or is that something that we encourage private business to do? So those are all things that we're looking at in our analysis, is what something like that would look like and what that would cost. And then, or how could we make this a public-private partnership? So we're looking at all those kinds of things in our analysis. If you have food waste service, how would you rate the service? Everyone's pretty happy with the service in the city and the county. Do you use the Helena transfer station? A lot of people use the Helena transfer station. And if you answer no, why not? A lot of people are, I have no need for the facility. I would honestly say that's about me. I don't really have bulk items. I don't have yard waste yet. And so I don't actually use it. I would fall into that. But the location is only a small portion, really. Convenience, I'd be interested to know why they wouldn't. But again, that's only 24% of 38 people that don't use it as a convenience thing. So I think the next slide is if you answered yes. Yes, there we go. If you answered yes, how would you rate the transfer station facility in terms of convenience and costs? Everyone's on the good to excellent on convenience and costs of those people that use it. So Pete, good job. Would you be interested in a program that charges based on the amount of waste you throw? So this is a pay as you throw option, and there's a lot of different ways that can happen. We'll line out some of those options in our report of how this can be accomplished, but a lot of people are a no. In our report or in our next survey that we'll send out, we'll explain this a little bit more of options of how this could look like, so that the residents have a better feel for how this is going to go, or how it could go. And then if you answered yes to the last question, which is the curbside, or no, sorry, pay as you throw. If you answered yes, so not really that many responses. for what categories would you be interested in? So there's garbage 40%, recycling 32%, composting 24%, pretty much both. It's pretty much the same percentage in each, the city and the county. So this, it shows us that those people would be open to maybe different canisters for recycling and garbage, and maybe it's a 3 canister, maybe it's a yard waste or green waste and recycling and garbage in the city and the county, but there's a lot of different ways to do that. So that, again, that's going to be part of our analysis. So question 23 was, what do you like about the current solid waste management system? I would like to point to the bottom, convenience. People are generally happy about it. It's easy, accessible, the cost, they're happy with the cost. It exists. We had that a lot. No complaints, which is good. So no complaints is 4 from the bottom, which is one of the most. So if they have no comments, that means to me that they're pretty happy. They're okay with it. The couple at the top, weight permit, that I think that some of those comments were, well, we don't know how much garbage we have left on our permit and that kind of stuff. Organized clean is up there, hours, which I think is just silly, that hours that someone would even complain about that. I mean, they're open 7 days a week, except for major holidays. So those are, I'm not so worried about those. It's good. I like the bottom. They're generally, people are happy with the service. So what our sub-consultant did is she made this incredible spreadsheet, and she listed out all the questions because there's 1,700 comments, and she went through and categorized all of them and picked out the words that were keywords. I'm like, holy buckets, thank you for doing that. It was a great way to present the information. Again, question 24, what would you like to see changed about the current solid waste management system? Go to the bottom, no comment. Again, that's telling me that they like it, but they would like some more recycling, and then some more compost. So there's some pro-universal curbside recycling. Overall, again, people are happy with the system.
I have a question.
For sure.
This is Candace Payne, County Commissioner. I live out in the county, and I pay the nice folks at the, I think it's the Tri-County garbage disposal.
Yep.
I pay them when they come and get it, and that's fine. And I haul my own recycling into town. How does what I pay to the private garbage hauler factor into the costs of the solid waste disposal that shows up on my taxes?
No, so that solid waste assessment on your taxes is just essentially for your disposal fees at the transfer station, and the landfill, it's for landfill filling, and some of it goes to recycling. The BU, or what you pay Tri-County disposal, is only for them to collect it and transfer it to the transfer station.
But what I'm seeing here is when they get it there, that's how I pay my share of including it in the landfill.
That's on your assessment.
Yeah.
Is including it in the landfill.
Okay, that takes care of my issue. Thank you.
Okay. Was that right, Pete?
Yes.
So question 25, do you have any other comments, questions, or concerns? Concerns about taxes being raised. Again, it's not a tax, it's an assessment. Most people understand that, but again, another education piece. There's a few comments in there that we can just handle with education. Importance of private businesses performing solid waste services. There are a few private businesses that are handling solid waste. There's recycling, there's Tri-County, there's a lot of stuff in there. So we are doing a public-private partnership. Look into that. That's not a Great West task. That's a Burns McDonnell, my sub-consultant task. Because I'm integrated into the city and the county. I've lived here my entire life. So we're going to have the outsider look in and see how this system works and how it might work better or different. So they are doing that piece of this report. And then they want more options for recycling. So these were some comments in the public meeting. County resident 100% against universal recycling, and they don't want recycling boxes at their house because of snow. And he had a whole list of things, which is understandable. One guy is very pleased with the current system. A few others like more composting. One comment, only those that recycle should pay for recycling, because part of the assessment is to help pay for recycling, because that does cost money. So there was that comment. How will this affect Tri-County disposal? At this point, we're just looking at all of it, and it probably won't, but maybe it increases their customer base or something. So we're going to look at all of it. County needs to handle recycling, not a private entity. They need to think about the future generations. The transfer station runs smoothly, and then another county resident likes the choice of hauling their own waste or having it picked up by Tri-County. I think those are the only public meeting results. So the next steps that we are doing is we're looking at the alternatives analysis. Those are definitely not ready to be presented to this group yet. It's a work in progress. The steering committee, the city, the county, and Burns McConnell and myself are looking at, or we've listed out some alternatives that everyone has determined are some things that we need to look at, which also include some of these comments. Those are taken into consideration when we're doing them. We have a meeting tomorrow. Our steering committee meeting is tomorrow. We're going to present our draft outline of how this should look. We have some questions for the steering committee. We need a little bit of guidance, how they would like us to go. That's their job, as they're the steering committee. And our goal is to have an alternatives presentation to the public the beginning of September. That's a heavy lift, but I think we can do it. So with the city and the county and the steering committee, we can make it happen. And then our alternatives and our draft alternatives analysis is around Christmas. So we'll take those next survey and public meeting responses and put those into our draft report. And then we'll finalize the report, I think, by March. So that's where we are. Is there any other questions?
Thank you, Ms. Becker. Comments or questions from commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Logan.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. Stephanie, at what point in the process do costs start becoming more of a reality? Like at this point, they're kind of hypothetical, $1 to $10 a month and
Right.
that sort of thing. But I think as you move on, it would seem to make sense that, the costs of those things, that those alternatives are going to be important.
So the steering committee you'll see some costs tomorrow on a few things. So they're being developed now. So they're going to slowly start rolling out to the city, county, and the steering committee. You guys will start seeing those. And then by the next time that we send out the information to have another survey on, there'll be approximate costs still. We're not going to throw exact costs at the public quite yet, because there'll still be a few things vetted out after refining that report. But you guys will start seeing that, and then I'll be able to present that to this group a different time, but you'll see some tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other comments or questions from the commission?
Thanks. I did have one question. So when and I don't know if this is going to happen in the alternatives analysis, but will there be an opportunity for us to maybe better understand, if we're not redoing the whole system or anything like that, just investments in like the transfer station and making it more accessible or robust? Is that something it'll consider?
Yeah, so that is one of our alternatives, to look at updating, upgrading the transfer station, the traffic in and out, maybe new scales, maybe some Z-walls at the transfer station for different types of materials that make it easier for the city and county staff to pull those things away. We have a whole alternative on transfer station upgrades, which is also an accessibility and traffic patterns, getting people in and out, how we can do that a little more efficiently. So yes, that will be in there. Yep.
Please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a question. I don't know if it's relevant to what's happening with the survey right now, but I'm curious to know if there's a plan for, I don't want to say an education campaign, but what percentage of our landfill is food waste and what is the impact of that? Do we have any plans to do sort of public education about food waste in the landfill and why diversion is important? Is that part of the long-term plan or?
Education. So one of our key, or I guess our base requirements, regardless of which alternative we go to, is an education piece. And we'll line up some helpful education, but the, oh crap, what is that thing called? That report, strategic plan.
Mayor, Commissioner, yeah, so we did get that number out of the strategic plan for waste reduction. And we did find that green waste is one of the largest quantities going to the landfill. We've applied for a grant to try to do a test. Sorry, I'm lost for words here. But we're trying to look at potentially putting in green waste or smart green waste containers in communities. Also looking at the possibility of giving certain citizens 3 chickens in a chicken coop to see about getting rid of green waste. We're still waiting to hear back from that proposal, but we're looking for all kinds of different pilot projects and things like that and monies to actually accomplish them.
I think that cool. Only be in the county, right?
I'll take.
So rules. Any other comments from the commissioners? Ms. Becker, thank you so much for
You're
your.
welcome.
Okay, we'll be moving along to joint discussion, historic tax abatement for new constructions from Coco property located in the historic Helena Historic District 3, Washington Place. Director Danielson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. So before you in your packets is an application for tax abatement and historic property from Matt Coco and Christine Dennis, who own the property known at 3 Washington Place. It is within the historic district here in the city limits. This particular abatement is allowed under Montana Code annotated 15-24-1603 and allows for tax abatement on new structures within historic districts. The current lot is vacant land, and it does have an old garage that's on the land. It is on a parcel that also has a mansion type structure on the land. So there are 2 lots within the parcel. And the proposal is to take the existing garage that's on the 1 lot and relocate it and to build a 2-story, 681 square foot duplex on the empty land that's there, the vacant land. This is in the R3 zoning district, which allows for multifamily construction. When they removed the garage, the Historic Preservation Office indicated that no longer contributes to the historic district attributes, and so the demolition ordinance for historic properties won't apply in this case for that particular garage. They also deem that the new construction is compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. They worked with Mr. Copo, and he ended up presenting some revised drawings to them. And then after their review of those drawings, their board recommended approval of the tax abatement on week 16. This particular tax abatement is for the increase in taxable value for tax years assessed between 2023 and 2028. It's good for the year of construction up to 12 months and then 5 years thereafter. The Department of Revenue, when they received the application and the final recommendation from the Historic Preservation Office, ended up calculating their abatement on the increased values of the construction. So they're in the packet, you'll see their calculation. And so there's an estimated value of the existing structures in the land. And so the increased value that they're starting with is $250,000 for the cost of this construction. So the abatement calculation is based on the $250,000 base and then a 2% inflationary adjustment thereafter for the actual cost of the new construction. The abatement is then limited to 100% of the increased value, which is the 250,000, and then the 2% inflationary adjustment thereafter. And so how that works is the $250,000 is applied against the 1.35% multifamily tax rate, which is set by the state. And then it's applied to the number of mills that are levied by both the county and the city. And their calculation is based on the mills that were set in tax year 22, which is technically for fiscal 23, but it was the levy amounts that were passed by the city and county in 2022. And it applies to both the city and also the county and the school districts in the Forestville Cemetery District. And so their calculation on their worksheet, their estimates based on what the mills were at the time, but over the course of the 5 years, the uncollected taxes for the city would be approximately $3,005. The uncollected taxes for the county would be about $3,432. The uncollected taxes for the school districts would be $5,690. And then for the Forestville Cemetery, it's about $56 over the course of the five tax years. We are required to give notice to the schools, which I'll do once we have a meeting and set the public hearing. I'll be sending the packet up to the schools tomorrow so that they can have ample opportunity to review the application and weigh in on public comment. I have presented all the information to Frank, and so he's aware of the abatement application. And from that, at this point, it's up to both commissions to make a recommendation. You won't decide on the abatement at this particular meeting, but you can make a recommendation to bring forth the application, and each separate entity will have to have a resolution brought to them before a public hearing, and at that time you can take a vote to approve or deny it. I don't see that Mr. Copel is present, although I did let him know when this meeting was. But if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them at this.
Thank you, Director Danielson. Manager Burke.
Mayor, I would just add that this recommendation will come forward for your consideration, and then you'll decide one way or the other. Very short period.
Thank you for clarifying.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Commissioner, so we don't have to give anybody any consensus direction here today. It's just.
Any comments or questions? Yes, Commissioner Payne.
Thank you, Mayor. We recently all received the updated information on the valuation of our real property from our friends over at the Department of Revenue. And of course, my property's worth twice as much as it was. And so my question is the valuation for this abatement realistic if it is based on the 23 value when we've just been told the future values are going to be doubled?
Thank you, Commissioner Payne and Mayor. So when I sent this off to the Department of Revenue, the applicant questioned why the value was so high, and she did respond in one of the emails that the values increased by over 40%, and therefore that's why they set the base value of the construction at $250,000. So at this time, I believe it incorporates and she did reference the fact that the valuations were increasing significantly. So I believe that these valuations incorporate those increases in tax values. Thank you.
Please.
Mr. Mayor. Thank you, the director, for answering questions.
this is a bit different than what I'll call the normal tax abatements. Usually they're businesses encouraging business, often there's, a number of jobs that'll be created, and all those kinds of things. So this really is just to encourage their rehabilitation, restoration, or historic district and building. There's nothing I'm missing, I guess. Is there any secret thing that we're gaining from
Thank you,
this?
Mayor and Commissioner. So one of the advantages of tax abatement in a historic district is to one, encourage, rehabilitation, but also in this particular case, to increase the housing stock in the city. So this is a duplex. The application was confusing to me, but I think it ends up, it's just a duplex, but it was first presented as a single family residence with a mother-in-law apartment, but the way the designs look, I believe it's just a duplex. So this does encourage, developers to come in and increase the housing stock within the historic district.
Thank you.
Was there any indication, I didn't see it in the application, but I know you spoke to the applicant. Did he indicate at all whether this would be priced in an affordable range? Because we really are not necessarily, the city we've been really trying to encourage and invest in like affordable and workforce housing, not necessarily, I would say, more luxury condos or housing.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioner. I got no indication that this was going to be set for affordable housing rates.
Any other comments? Do we have any public comments? Right. Thank you.
Oh, and Mayor, one other thing. I think I did say that the Historic Preservation Office did state in their letter, and that's in your package, that they reviewed the application and met with the applicant as well and recommended the abatement. So that'll be for your consideration.
Thank you.
Well, I guess one question, the way I'm looking at this is this does not appear to be fixing up a historic home. It's a whole new building, new thing.
Yes, Mayor and Commissioner, this is a new construction of a new duplex. And so there's an old historic mansion type structure on the parcel, and it's got 2 lots, and part of the lot is vacant with this old garage that's on there. And they're going to relocate the garage and then build the new structure on the empty part of the vacant land. And so this particular section of the MCA allows for tax abatements on new construction in historic districts.
Thank you.
Any other final comments? Thank you, Director Danielson. Future agenda items. If you have any future agenda items, please send them to Nadine. She will add them to the agenda. Is there anyone from the public wishes to address the commissions? Madam Clerk, do we have any online?
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, I have no public comment online.
Okay, are there any final comments from the commission? This meeting is adjourned.